terms, you mentioned the offense balancing or getting up to the point of the defense. Do you feel that you have the offensive fulcrums in place here to make a very efficient offense work, or how much will you need to alter that with talent?
I think the thing that we really do need to improve, and this was even the case last year, is our shooting. I think as a whole, we need to improve our shooting, and that might come in the form of draft. It might come in the form of free agency. There's very effective shooters out there that could potentially come in and help us and be, whether it's a rotation player that's in all the time or a role player that comes in spot situations. You look at a guy like I can't say names, but you just there are players that would fit that bill. And I think also, again, we talk about that internal growth, internal improvement. Our guys, they're athletes, they're basketball players, and you're going to see continued steps taken forward in a positive note with them as well. And but again, shooting is key. The other thing I think more than anything, and we got to get more into a mindset of pushing the ball up the floor, getting some easy looks, probing, taking what the defense gives you. And a lot of times teams are lazy and give you transition baskets. Our fast break points should go up. Again, the mindset is, especially if you've got young athletes, which we do, and guys that run the floor, get the ball down the floor, see what you got. Otherwise, there's no reason walking it up into a 14-second count. I'd rather always take the look and see what's there. And, having said that, we focused so much on the defensive side of the ball this year early that it really was difficult to do both at once with a 10-day training camp. And, I'm not knocking the coaching staff at all for that. They set out to do something very important, and they accomplished it. But now, again, I do believe the best teams, the contending teams, pick their spots and are good at running when they need to run and good at, slowing down the ball and playing half-court offense when need be. And as you know, games always slow down in the playoffs, and that's where we want to find ourselves in the future. So we want to be able to do both. And there's a happy medium to find, and it's not all one or all the other. But with dramatically improved defense, we've, again, got a good foundation to make other steps forward.
You talked about your youth and seeing it mature, and you're going to have more of it with your pick if you use it and Jonas. But you also talked about the playoff aspirations and continuing to build, and you've got fiscal flexibility with free agency. How do you leverage those two ideals that might not be mutually exclusive?
Well, I think you can do both. You can work with players on their game. There's going to be a lot of time spent in practice, before practice. Again, our staff showed tremendous diligence working with, the James Johnsons, Ed Davis before games. We've got two workout coaches, Eric Hughes and, John Townsend, that are, in effect, the hardest working guys in the league as far as I'm concerned. They're there all the time. And if they're not there working on the basketball court, we've got Alex McKechnie or Johnny Lee in the weight room with someone working on the physical aspect of the improving aspects of the game. So it's tremendous to have that kind of commitment, that kind of staff. We're going to continue to drive those points home. That doesn't necessarily have to happen in games all the time. It's interesting. This year, we talked early on at the beginning of how are we going to improve with so little practice time? And I made the statement, and I kind of got scoffed at by a few, but each and every game for this team is going to be a practice this year. Every 48 minutes on the court has got to be utilized as the opportunity to improve these players. It's not just about getting the W in that particular game. We've got to improve these players if we want to get to where we want to go happens on our time. And where we want to go is clearly the playoffs, and that's where our target is now. So again, next year games are going to be game situations will be treated a little bit differently. I know Again, sometimes I almost had to hold the staff back this year because, they were doing their jobs with such precision that, they want to win. And I think that, again, you get the right mindset, you get the right growth and development of the players, and you get the right talent, it happens. You win. And that's where we're headed. So we'll try to do our best to blend those two ideas next year. But, again, a little less tolerability for some of the things that might happen throughout the course of a game that this year might have been dealt with differently.